Welcome to the Cicero Town Board meeting, Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, 6:30 PM. Please, if you would, silence your cell phones and note there are two exits in the rear of the room and one to my right up here. If you would, please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and remember those who are serving in harmony. Thank you. Before we start our meeting, is there anyone up here who has any agenda items that they'd like to add to the agenda before we start this? No? No? Okay, thank you. The public meeting tonight pertaining to input regarding the agenda items, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. If you wish to speak on behalf of any of the public hearings at that time, you can come up here and do that. But as of right now, if you have anything to speak on other than the public hearings, you're more than welcome to come up. Just state your name and your address.
Good evening, Judy Boyke, Muskrat Bay Road. On the agenda for the comprehensive plan, when do they meet? The meeting, the meetings for the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There will be a public hearing held by the steering committee on November 14th at the Lineman's Training Center. It'll be informational at 6 o'clock and then a public hearing at 7 o'clock. After any comments are made, those comments will be drafted up along with the draft plan and it will be forwarded to the town board and then it will be in the town board's hands.
Okay.
By the end of the week or early next week, there will be a copy posted on the website.
But this committee, isn't it open to the public?
No, this is not an open.
No.
These aren't open. No.
The one on the 14th is, the steering committee is not, it's the one, the New York Forward meetings, those are open to the public.
Okay, we don't have an attorney tonight.
He's like,
Okay.
sent me a message.
For the assessor. How is that money going to be distributed? Is she going to get any more pay? It's number 17.
No, there is no pay now.
But is it no pay? But is this going to increase her workload and her clerks when they're already?
She was willing to do it and she agreed to do it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Anyone else? We'll go on to the abstracts. Counselor Hogan.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve abstract number 42 dated 10/16/2024 and abstract number 43 dated 10/23/2024.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. Moving to the public hearing for the chapter 210 of the town code. And at this time, I wish to waive the reading of the legal notice that were posted and advertised at the proper time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll open up the public hearing on this at 6:35.
34 on the phone.
6:34.
I feel like that's more accurate.
Okay, anybody like to speak on behalf of this? Before you come up, Jay, would any of the counselors like to speak on behalf of any of this?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief overview. This establishes a special use permit for any business holding itself out to offer massage services. The purpose of this is, I'm sure we are all aware, there have been a number of raids or busts of massage parlors in the town of Cicero and in the surrounding areas that purportedly offer reflexology, massage, foot massage, but in reality are fronts for prostitution. Human trafficking is often involved. So the purpose of this is just to ensure that any business holding itself out to offer massage services has to have a special use permit, have to have licensed massage therapists on staff. They have to provide copies of the licenses. Really, the burden is minimal. The only thing beyond what they would already have to supply would be fill out a form with the names of the owners. If the owner's a corporation, then the names of the officers and directors, and then the names and licenses of anyone that's going to be offering massages. And it's renewable once. There's no fee for the renewal, and after that, it's a lifetime special use permit. So we think that that first year will probably weed out any bad actors that have applied for the permit.
If you,
There is a fee. There is a fee that's set by the town board for the initial application. The fee can be no higher than the filing fee for a minor site plan application, which is $150. We haven't set it yet. It doesn't have to be 150, but it can be no higher than that. So we've capped it. You know, we haven't really discussed it. I don't think I would even propose one that high. You can come up and but
if you would,
I'm sorry.
do you already have a business in Cicero?
Yes.
Then this doesn't apply to you then. I should have mentioned that. It does not apply to existing businesses nor to sole practitioners.
Okay.
New businesses.
New businesses only.
So if we've already been.
If you're already in
for-
business, if you sell your business, the new owner will have to go through it.
Okay.
But for you, if you're already in business in Cicero,
Mhm.
then it doesn't, then you're
then
not, you're
How
exempt.
would you get rid of the ones that aren't? I mean, if they're doing it illegal anyway, are they gonna need a permit? Will they care if they have?
Well,
a
there's gonna,
permit?
one of the things is, I mean, already if we have new businesses open up and we see there's new business that's offering massages and they haven't applied for a permit, then that obviously
Is a
gets,
red flag.
obviously that's a red flag, yes. So there's gonna be a second component to this and to some other types of businesses in town that require special use permits that will allow us to act even quicker if those permits aren't acquired. But I mean, right now, you know, if we see foot massage offered at some random commercial location and we know
I
they didn't apply for a
appreciate that.
permit.
As a
Yeah.
licensed massage therapist, I do appreciate that. And it's scary to be on the other end of that.
And
And
to
then-
No,
your,
no, and we've, sorry, go ahead, Ms.
to your point, it's very difficult once they're already established. So that's why we are positioning this to try and prevent that from happening. Because once they're already established, it takes a lot of time, money, and effort on the town's part to try and remove them.
Right.
And that part is very lengthy and difficult. So to your point, that's why we're trying to get this established to kind of make it difficult so that we don't have to get to that point. So this is to try and prevent.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
thank you. If
Yeah,
you could- if
we
you-
were, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Aragona, if you want.
No, go ahead first.
Well, we were mindful of trying not to inconvenience legitimate businesses to the greatest extent possible. Obviously, this is a problem, and I'm sure in that business, you hate, you
I've
know.
seen the problem.
No, I'm sure you have it, and obviously you don't want anything that gives your profession a bad name or gives people the wrong impression. I mean, you know, my wife uses a massage therapist. I had a deep tissue massager over the weekend. It's a very important.
7 years.
Absolutely. And
continue.
no one's conflating the medical, you know, services and the legitimate services that are important that you offer with these illegitimate services. It's just, unfortunately, they try to glom on and then use the same, just basically
Yeah,
the same
call it
terms.
what
that
it
you
is.
use. Yeah. So this is really, you know, like I said, try to make it as minimal burden as possible. And if you're already in business, you have nothing to worry about
All
then.
right, thank you.
problem.
Ma'am, if you could just state your name
Debbie Cole.
and your address.
I'm. at
You don't,
6
you can give us your home address.
Or your
that's
business either,
Syracuse.
whatever. Okay.
Either. Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Anyone else speak on behalf or against?
Hi, Jay Reardon, 8763 Brewerton Road, until the OC dozers kick me out. I just want to say that, you know, this process has been going on with this particular local law proposal for the last 2 or 3 months, and I did not support it initially. I came here and said, you probably shouldn't even have a public hearing, but honestly, Councilor Karp has done a spectacular job in drafting this. And not only has he done a spectacular job in drafting it, he's also done a spectacular job over the last 2 or 3 months in communicating to the public and communicating to stakeholders and communicating to licensed massage therapists, communicating to everyone. He's been out there. He's been the face of this law, which is great. I mean, it's one thing to have the documents that you can see on the agenda, but those documents don't have a human face to them. They don't have somebody explaining what's going on. And kudos to Councilor Carp for doing this in such an exceptional way. The law is extremely well drafted. There's obviously a need, but I really, really appreciate this town board taking those 2 or 3 months. Yes, it's an urgent problem, but if you're going to institute a new local law, might as well take those 2 or 3 months and be a human face, get out there, communicate with the stakeholders, communicate with interested parties, and create a great law like you've done here. So kudos on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll be drawing some distinctions between how well you've done here on this law and the next agenda item in the public hearing in a moment. Thank you.
Anyone else? Not, we'll close the public hearing at 6:41. Also like to state the Onondaga County Planning Board, Onondaga County Planning has returned with their GML 239 and determined that the said referral has no significant adverse community or community-wide implications and may subsequently be acted on solely by the referred board. This was completed in a formality. Any more board comments?
Nope.
No. This is a seeker. Unlisted action, move for the adoption that the proposed action to adopt local law number 12 of the 2024 to approve changes to chapter 210 of the town code. The purpose of these changes is to establish a special use permit for the establishments offering massage services so as to make it easier to prevent the opening of establishments offering illegal services while allowing a legitimate massage therapist to operate is an unlisted action for the purpose of a seeker compliance. This applicant filed a seeker short form and has been reviewed by the town. The proposed action involves no other planning permit granting authorities outside the town. The proposed action will not have a negative impact on the environment and does not require the preparation for a draft environmental impact statement.
Second.
I have a question on the actual, the motion itself. Oh, you were.
No, and we may as well.
It
yeah.
says the applicant filed there's
no
no
applicant.
applicant. Oh, there is?
There's,
All right.
okay.
Thanks, Robert.
I've never seen that on a local law.
I
Okay.
know, yeah. Okay,
Never seen that on a local.
I know, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I seconded it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. A decision, move for the adoption resolution to approve the changes of chapter 210 of the town code. The purpose of these changes is to establish a special use permit for establishments offering massage services so as to make it easier to prevent the opening of establishments offering legal services while allowing legitimate massage therapists to operate, to be known as local number 12 of 2024.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. Design standards of the chapter 210 for a public hearing. I wish to waive the reading of the legal notices posted and advertised at the proper time.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
This time I'll open up the public hearing at 6:44 PM. And would any of the councilors like to speak?
We passed, I think late last year, wasn't it? Some interim design standards that is still a work in progress. We wanted to update those for a couple purposes. One, to apply them to the entire town. Notably, none of this applies to single family residential. So this does not affect anyone building a new home, new residential subdivisions, making renovations to your home or anything like that. It affects commercial, industrial, and multifamily. Actually, the additions that are made will affect, basically apartment buildings. We've also added a new emphasis on accessibility. We have some concerns about that, particularly as regards to apartment buildings. The majority of the design standards are designed to be flexible. We're making some of the design standards mandatory because some of them are of such a nature that we do not believe they should be waivable, while still allowing flexibility for probably about 90 8% of the design standards. The notable accessibility and safety changes for apartment buildings are that all apartment buildings are required to have in-unit hookups for washers and dryers, which we believe offers better accessibility for people with disabilities, seniors, and also people with maybe physical infirmities that don't rise to the level of being a disability. And also that all apartment buildings of 2 stories or higher will have to have elevators, which is also an enhancement in accessibility for those groups, plus also families with small children, strollers, things like that. So those are the changes in a nutshell.
Did we address size of the elevators?
Yes, actually, that's a good point, Councilor Bacallo. So if you have a building, and this tracks with a lot of other municipalities, this part does. If you have a apartment building that is intended or designed for occupancy principally by senior citizens or persons with disabilities, at least 1 elevator shall be of sufficient size to accommodate an ambulance stretcher. Thank you.
They probably all should be that.
We can make that change, certainly.
You're looking at, I've been in buildings working the job and elevators are usually big enough to fit these stretchers in.
We can make that change now, actually, because it doesn't affect the notice, the public notice really, so that's fine. So then at least 1 elevator in every apartment building has to be that size. I'm fine with that. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Glad I brought it up.
I am too.
Anybody like to come speak on behalf of this or against it? Come on up.
Thanks. I think this is, all right. The local law came out, what, yesterday? Posted with the agenda and stuff? Is that correct?
I don't know when it was posted.
Okay.
When
This
was
is
it?
a great contrast to
Tracy,
something.
when was it posted?
Friday, I think.
No, it gets posted about day.
It posted days ago.
Yeah.
No, the actual law itself,
The actual
though.
law.
When was it posted on the website? It's Thursday or Friday last
The
week.
day
wasn't
that
it?
you gave it to me, I put it right on.
Yeah,
the
it was
website.
Thursday or
Thank
Friday
you.
last week.
Okay. It's a few days. I mean, honestly, that's quite different. 2 or 3 business days is quite different than 2 or 3 months that you did very comprehensively with the last agenda item. I get the sense that this is being rushed through, and I'll just explain my concerns briefly. On the one hand, you have these design standards, which are an integral part of the comprehensive plan. Another agenda item later on in this exact same meeting is a public hearing regarding the other aspects of the comprehensive plan, and maybe this aspect too, and how it all integrates. That's going to take place on November 14th. That's not a long time to wait. That's 2.5 weeks. Unless there's something particularly urgent, more urgent than human trafficking. I mean, what can be more urgent than that, right? Why can't at the same time be allowed to have this public hearing at the comprehensive plan meeting on November 14th, and for people to ask questions about that, how these design standards and their changes integrate, how they integrate in the comprehensive plan, how they integrate into everything else going on, and then make a decision after that. I suggest you do. I suggest you defer. The actual draft of the local law, and this is why I asked about the draft being posted, does present 2 new significant requirements for construction. They are laundry hookups, which are essentially, the way the law is drafted, laundry rooms, and they are elevators. With regards to the laundry room, stackable units are disallowed. How much space does a stackable unit in a hallway take up? It's about a 4x4 enclosure in a closet, okay? And you can integrate those in hallways.
They're not, I'm sorry, Mr. Reardon, they're not disallowed. They're specifically allowed.
Could you check that?
Yeah, I can read it to you verbatim. Because it says they have to have separate, available freestanding washers and dryers. The planning board may permit a modification of this provision to allow for hookups and floor space for stacked washer and dryer units, provided, however, that only hookups and floor space adequate for full-size stacked washer and dryer units shall be permitted in multiple bedroom apartments. So the planning board has the ability to say, you can go with stackable units.
Okay, here's the concern. That's a planning board exemption that is available. But the actual guidelines that are available by default that people are going to pay attention to do indicate that there should be hookups there. And the problem is that if you're designing an apartment that has, let's say, a 2-bedroom apartment, 1,000 to 1,100 square feet. If you really need those things in the initial design that the architect's going to do based on the town code as it is, without any exemption in place, if you're looking at a 2-bedroom apartment, 1,000 to 1,100 square feet, and the side-by-side hookups are actually going to take up a ton of space. You're almost encouraging people to design with a laundry room in mind, not just a laundry area. And I think that's concerning. And I think this is something that should prompt this particular issue to be kicked down the road so that we can get more information from the steering committee, which we don't hear a lot from, and address the question. The other thing is elevators. I have great 3-story designs for townhomes. Yes, they're going to go in the commercial realm, but they're great designs. But what they are a row of townhomes with a drive-in garage and maybe 1 room on the basement level, and then 2 living levels above. There's also great designs out there for 4-story townhomes. Yes, they're more vertical, but that might be something that the town wants to encourage in the future. They're unique and they're interesting. Are 3-story townhomes now going to require an elevator within them?
Apartment buildings require an elevator
Okay,
within them.
a townhome building is an apartment building, correct?
Depending on the design of the townhome and depending on the definition. I mean, it depends on whether they have common circulation. I mean, the definition of apartments in 210, but to your previous point, and I mean, this isn't obviously a debate, and I respect the fact that reasonable people can disagree on this. Like the sentence that says, that talks about having the separate hookups is literally the sentence before the one that mentioned stacked washer and dryer units. So unless you're suggesting that a developer will read the first sentence and not read the second sentence, I just don't understand the concern.
The concern is that you have 2 sentences right next to each other that sort of say different things. So why not just defer for a few weeks and let people ask questions and talk to you like you did with the massage therapy regulations and sort of hash this out? I really do not see a need to vote on this tonight. It really does seem a little suspicious that laundry hookups and elevators are the particular concerns, because for people with disabilities like myself, there are other items that are applicable. I mean, doorway distances, thresholds, ramps, in addition to stairs. These are things that we can, I think, better integrate as a town as part of the comprehensive plan process and get a better result. Because they seem, honestly, and I'll just wrap this up right now. I mean, this seems rather arbitrary in the selection of these particular items to extend these design standards. And one can reasonably ask the question, okay, where did these things come from? Is this a particular thing that's tailored to something like Huber Brewer or Montroy Development? Is it tailored to the big developers? Do these changes that go beyond the existing design standards and their extension throughout the town, do they reflect only the concerns of particular large developers and not smaller developers too? I think these are open questions, and I think they're concerning questions, and I think you need to wait to make a decision on this.
I think I'm ready to vote on this tonight. My understanding is the board is. I guess I'll say this. This is responding to the concerns of the board and discussions that the board has been having for quite some time. It's not in regard to any particular developer or anything like that. These are things we've been discussing, and the design standards are an ongoing process that we will continue to look at, probably even after the comprehensive plan, to be honest.
I would like to just add to, including my time on the planning board, we spent a lot of time discussing with builders the same things over and over, the same concerns. And so we found that it was exhausting a lot of our time and the town's time and money and energy repeating the same things over and over. So the intentions of these design standards are to alleviate some of that time so that we can put it into better use. But that's why we always encourage these public hearings, because it's important to us to hear public input on any changes that we make.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Judy Boyke. First of all, I'd like to clarify that townhouses are private owned. Therefore, they're a resident.
Yeah,
So therefore, if they want washers and dryer, they can put their own in because they own the property.
right.
Also, with all of the other regulations, I'm a Realtor, New York State, licensed 33 years. We have fair housing laws that cover all the disabilities, every single disability you want to think of, plus several other situations. The fair housing laws have to be followed by the developer.
Mhm.
Therefore, the width of the doorways, the accessibility, any of that is all covered through the developer themselves. So that's not an issue either. And if they don't build it that way, we have codes that will not allow them. So moving on to what I came up here for. On in number 11, where you're adding, I believe, about the North Syracuse, the village. It's number 11,
On the agenda?
where you're changing, no, on.
Oh,
on
where
your-
we excluded, where I said, yeah,
Yeah, you're
because we
excluding the village.
removed the specific, and it says in the town of Cicero, except that part of the town that is coextensive with the incorporated village of North Syracuse.
I would question, shouldn't we add the Hamlet of Broughton?
They already have their own design.
I know, but we're clarifying, we're calling out that the village in North Syracuse isn't.
Well, we don't have any zoning jurisdiction in the village of North Syracuse. That's why they're carved out. Under the town law, we don't have any jurisdiction or authority for zoning inside an incorporated
Okay,
village.
that I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's why that's in there like that.
Okay, and then one other thing, in your listings of various materials to be used, that the use of stucco, vinyl, fiberglass, and all of that
Yeah,
is prohibited for principal structures.
Right.
If we're doing multifamily, they have vinyl siding.
if we let them, I mean, if the design standards allow for vinyl siding, I mean, it doesn't, but we're looking to improve the appearance and have a higher quality product built here in Cicero.
Understand, but vinyl siding is what every builder uses, and it's a high quality that they do. I just wanted to make a point.
No, I understand.
Thank you.
Anyone else? 6:57, we'll close the public hearing. Any more comments from the board?
No.
Move for the adoption. The proposed action to adopt local law number 13 of 2020. Yes, sir. As amended?
Oh, yeah, this one is amended. You're right. Yep.
Where'd you get that? I don't see that.
Because we added we amended the elevator requirement.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, I got you. Thank you. Okay, move the adoption that the amended proposed action to adopt the local law number 13, 2024, to approve changes to the chapter 210 of the town code. Purpose of these changes is for the expansion of the design standards across the entire town. Modified design way is an unlisted action for the purpose of seeker compliance. The application filed a seeker short form that has been reviewed by the town. The proposed action involves no other permit granting authorities outside the town. Proposed action will have no negative impact on the environment and does not require the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no. Or abstain, passed. Decision, move for the adoption resolution to make the amendments to chapter 210 for expansion of the design standards across the entire town in a modified design way to be known as local law number 13 of 2024.
I'd just like to clarify, we're doing this as amended.
Correct.
Second.
Tracy?
Excuse me, can we also, I gave you a copy, it came in late today regarding the
Yes,
Onondaga County.
yes, the county also
Please, thank
sent in their recommendations that state there's no significant adverse in our community or countywide implications and may consequently be acted solely by the referring board. Thank you, Tracy. Discussion? Anybody second that?
I did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Don't know or abstain, passed. Public hearing for the change of the speed limit on Party Road. And at this time, again, I wish to waive the reading of the legal notices and advertised at the proper time.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's time we'll open up the public hearing at 6:59. Any counselors like to speak? No? I'll open this up. Before we have somebody speak, I'll read a letter from somebody. October 12th, 2024, Cicero Town Council, please review a hazard that is on Party Road, Cicero, New York, at your earliest convenience. I have lived in Cicero Estates for 14 years and have seen an increased excessive speed of cars, trucks, and motorcycles. There is no speed limit sign stating a specific speed limit on Party Road. Recently, an accident occurred near the entrance to Cicero Estates, not the first one. Do not know what caused the accident to occur. There is an on-ramp at 81. Vehicles going north have the right of way entering 81 north. Vehicles going south have a stop sign, as well as good except speed and failure to use turn signals is difficult to judge at times. Myself, when at the stop sign, do not trust the other driver. There has been increase of traffic due to business in the area and the need for alternate routes due to the traffic conditions. Please review this request to change the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit or do a traffic assessment. Thank you in advance for your consideration of this request. Deborah Kolodsky. Okay, come on up.
Carol Party, 5977 McKinley Road. I'm not in favor of going down to 40 miles per hour on Party Road. I mean, people complain about Mud Mill Road, Lake Shore, 35 miles per hour. I would say stick with 50 or 45.
Thank you, Carol. This has been reviewed by our highway superintendent and our chief of police. And your recommendations? 40. Okay. Anyone else like to come up and speak?
Jamie Party, 5980 Sneller Road. I travel this on a regular basis up and down. Cicero Estates, as we all know, that letter is 100% correct. That's a cluster. It's not the town's issue. It's the county and the state for getting on 81, how they stop the traffic. I don't feel that speed limit is a good idea. It's going to restrict traffic flow for people. Also, why do it now? You got an exit that's going to be put up there. So why would you do it now when they're going to put an exit just up there, let it all happen at once instead of you guys making the decision as the board and upsetting people or making people happy when we all know there's going to be big changes going on there anyway. Then the other thing is to making your decision, which I understand, anytime there's going to be a traffic change or anything like that, there should be traffic studies, documentation backing up the reasons why, speeding, so on and so forth, accidents, incidents, public safety, that sort of stuff. Do we have any of that documentation that we can present tonight before we make a decision on this? Yeah. I'm just saying, based on a decision in the best interest of the town and the residents of the town as the board to make that decision. I don't feel they can make that decision if they don't have any documentation to support that. And also, I live on Sneller where it's 35. I would love for you to go there and enforce that because it doesn't happen.
Chief, did we put out a speed, one of those speed signs out there to get some numbers by any chance? I think maybe we should hold off
Yeah.
and hold off and put up a speed sign up there like we do every other traffic complaint that we have.
Yeah, because I mean, unfortunate situation happened a few years back with a young gentleman on a motorcycle, and I was in my backyard, and it happens all the time. I was in my backyard and I heard him go flying by, and I said to myself, boy, I hope he makes a corner. And he didn't. I mean, that's, yeah, it's not.
Okay.
They fly on that road. So appreciate it. Thanks.
Mr. Party, if you could stay at the podium just 1 second. I don't mean to be mean. I'm agreeing with you, right? So I think the letter from that woman actually, and Mr. Party actually stated.
It's more that
it's-
intersection.
It's the intersection, right?
It's actually where Cicero Estates is just past the entrance
Yeah.
to 81. A lot of people get confused how that is. That's actually the exit or entrance to 81, and then it goes to the road changes. You know, and that's with the stop sign. It's all confusing.
If we could do,
And there's times when I've gone to work in the morning, and when you got a steady flow of traffic, you sit at that stop sign for a long time. So, and then people get confused. That whole intersection is bad. I could see a lot of accidents happening there, and I think the state needs to get more involved in that to assist in that situation. I've been sitting at the stop sign, had people go around behind me instead of going the way they're supposed to go. So it's a very confusing intersection.
I would tend to agree. I just, having weed whacked out there quite a bit, like I've seen a lot of, you see a lot of that. The
Confusing.
stop sign,
Yeah.
I think isn't well done, right? It's your point, it's state,
Yeah.
right? If we could, again, not trying to pressure the board into anything, but I think what we're doing for agenda item 8, requesting for, intersection, the light signal, if we do something asking the state to look at Party Road in the same similar format of what we're doing for agenda item 8, I think that's probably the better way to go. But again, that's just my personal opinion on that.
Once you get over the hill past Pepsi, you got Paul de Lima. I mean, I don't see any warrant for a slow speed limit. I mean, you got McKinley Road, and then that's it. Then it turns to Sneller.
I'm fine holding off on it.
That's fine.
Do you want to change the agenda item to make it a?
I
resolution
mean,
like we were-
I
We
don't
should
want to
discuss that before we,
Right, yeah.
Okay, we can,
why don't we adjourn it? You gotta adjourn it to a date certain.
Well, is there anybody else that wants to speak?
no?
We can just close the public hearing, take no action, right?
You got a few choices. You can close it, take no action, and decide to just make a decision later. If you want to hear more, you can adjourn it to a date and time certain, or you can make a motion to lay it on the table for further discussion.
I'll make a motion to, why don't we lay it on the table for further discussion?
Sure.
Table it.
What date? Where's-
We don't need a date certain
Date?
for that, do we?
Yeah.
Just table it?
Fine, I move to table it.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Anybody wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
So it goes back on, you got to
Renotice and everything. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, move for the adoption of a resolution to set a public hearing for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 at 6:30 PM at Cicero Town Hall, 8236 Brewerton Road, Cicero, New York, to consider the 2025 preliminary budget, including special districts and fire protection districts.
Second.
Discussion.
When's the last day that we can pass the budget by New York State law? I think it's pretty close to the 14th, though.
Know that if you want to see the tax cap, it's the Thursday after election.
Be the day after
Kind of
election,
a year or
Thursday
two
after
ago.
election, then you have up until,
Thursday after.
yeah, I remember the Thursday.
That's for the tax cap, right?
The Thursday after election is usually it, but we're not gonna do that because our town board meeting's not till the 13th. So, the 15th.
Just look at the calendar.
That sounds right.
Why do you ask? Oh, you got it right here.
I just always want to know, because we're meeting for the first time on Friday, right? We may need to have another meeting.
You have a meeting scheduled for Monday as well.
Well, that was back up.
If you
If we
need it.
needed it.
If we needed it. Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
It's,
Is the final deadline, is it the Thursday after election day?
The 15th.
15th.
15th is the last day to do it,
so the 14th would be the day, right?
unless you had the public hearing on the 15th. Why do you want to push it or just?
It's one day. I mean, if it's the so
Okay.
13th. I'm okay with the 13th.
That's fine.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine. Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. We'll read the next one and then we're gonna get to the SPO. Okay, chief?
Move the adoption resolution to request Onondaga County Department of Transportation to install a signal light at a county-owned intersection of Whiting and South Bay Road.
Second.
Discussion.
I understand the recent there was a bunch of social media discussion about this. I know the recent fatality, I believe, was actually not at that intersection, correct? But there have been fatalities there. And frankly, with the development that we anticipate coming in the town, probably on Lake too, I think that this traffic light is going to be needed at some point anyway. Mr. Woznicka, how many fatalities have there been? At least,
I've been on 3 myself with the fire department. It's probably been at least 8 of them.
I've been on the board since 16. I think a couple times we've asked for a light and a four-way stop there and we've never.
Yeah, the county, I
So
mean,
I contacted the county and I reached out to them and was waiting for a call back. I also contacted Marty Voss and left him a message as well since the last meeting, what everybody was looking to do, or your email that came through,
Mhm.
looking for one. So just want to let you know it's
Okay,
not being, it's being looked at.
okay. All right.
Okay. Have you already vote, all in favor? We already
Aye.
voted on it.
Aye.
Okay. Vote no or abstain, passed. Why don't we do a couple more on this page and we'll go to the next one. Go ahead.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to set a public hearing for November 14th, 2024 at 7 PM held at the New York State Lineman Safety Training Facility at 8533 Brewerton Road, Town of Cicero. An open house informational meeting will begin at 6 PM, followed by the public hearing at 7 PM for the comprehensive plan.
second.
All in favor or
Aye.
discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, sir.
That, the light at Whiting.
Yes.
When I tried to get one at 31 at Cicero Center, the engineer told me they didn't have a fatality at that intersection to warrant a light. Till I brought a snowplow out and put that engineer in the snowplow with the plow out, and that plow was out probably 10 or 15 feet, almost into the lane at 31. Maybe that's, have Mr. Voss come out, put him in a snowplow and see how far you gotta get out into that intersection.
He was nice enough to meet with me on the other issue that you had with the drainage there. So yeah, I'm sure he will. I've been on a fatality in this area when a child lost their life. So,
Nope.
yeah. Number 10.
New York State Standard Workdays Resolution. Move for the adoption resolution to establish the following New York State Standard Workdays for these titles. A will report the officials to the New York State and local retirement system based on the timekeeping system records of their record of activities, the tongue twister, as presented.
Second.
Discussion.
Tracy?
Clerk call the roll.
Counselor Hogan?
Yes.
Counselor Maurizio?
Yes.
Counselor Carr?
Yes.
Counselor Bacallo?
Aye.
Supervisor Aragano?
Aye.
Are we going to the SPO or are we?
Why don't we just do these next three?
Sure.
We'll get to
All
it.
right. Move the adoption resolution to hire Killian Hiltz as provisional court clerk to start on or about October 28th, 2024 at a pay rate of $22.72 per hour under budget line courts administrative budget code 001-110-01000-0000.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption of resolution to approve an additional court clerk position and to hire Christina Marsala to start provisionally on or about November 7th, 2024 at a pay rate of $22.72 per hour under budget line court / administrative budget code 001-110-01000-0000.
Second.
Discussion. I'd like to advise the board at this time that there is enough money to have the new hire start and go through the rest of this year. You'll have to put half of the budget money in your guys' budget because I budgeted half in June for the next year for the judges after hearing.
Already made up notes for the workshop about that.
You did? Okay, great. Okay, just want to let you know, they have a real issue and a real problem in there at this time. And just want to say that we support the courts and thanks for letting us know what's going on. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Do the SPO now.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the attached professional services agreement to provide GASB 75 valuation services related to the town's retiree health benefits covering the fiscal years 2021 to 2024 at a cost of $13,000 to be paid in equal annual installments of $3,250. As past fiscal years are covered in this agreement, the installments will be paid as valuation reports are completed. Budget code 001-1315-4000-0000, contractual expenses, comptroller.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. Move for the adoption resolution to issue and advertise and attach request for proposal audit services for the financial statement audit of the town's fiscal years ending in December 31st, 2023, 24, and 25, including federal single audits as necessary in those periods.
Second.
Discussion. This is, we looked at this last year and we're at it again because we spent some money on ARPA and it has to be, money, want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. So there was interest in doing an audit for the 2023 fiscal year. And then for 2024, we're going to be required because we're going to need a federal compliance audit because we spent more than $750,000 in federal funds between DOT project and the ARPA money.
Thanks. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the renewal to the Mitchell One software for fleet management in the amount of $7,104. Budget code 003-5130-4362-0000.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to notify the board of an emergency tree removal at the request of codes for dead trees along the highway right-of-way at Alzarian Ave to Chestlock tree removal in the amount of $5,525. Budget code 003-5140-4036-0000.
Second.
Discussion.
Did we have any other bids?
He's
Those-
on the county bid.
He's on county
got it.
contract. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. Chief, you want to have John McGuire? Okay. Hang on one sec. We got to read this quick, Chief. Move for the adoption resolution to hire a special patrol officer to fill a vacancy at Lakeshore Elementary School under the agreement between the town of Cicero and North Syracuse Central School District. John McGuire was recommended for hire by the Chief of Police for Lakeshore Elementary School at a rate of $40 per hour effective October 21st, 2024. Budget code 002-3120-01295005.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Cicero Police Department. He was a municipal police officer before he went to the state park police for about 10 years. Then he went to the New York State Troopers where he served as an investigator, recently retired. So we're lucky to have him as our new school officer as we assigned to Lakeshore. And along with all the knowledge, he's going to bring a lot. Okay? Enjoy it. Please state your name, your solemnly swear. I, John McGuire, do solemnly swear. I will support the Constitution of the United States. I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of New York. The Constitution of the State of New York. All the laws of New York State. All the laws of New York State. Town of Cicero. Town of Cicero. And the rules and regulations of the Town of Cicero Police Department. And the rules and regulations of the Town of Cicero Police Department. I will faithfully discharge the duties of Special Patrol Officer. I will faithfully discharge the duties of Special Police Officer. For the Town of Cicero Police Department. The Town of Cicero Police Department. According to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. And with the highest level of integrity. And with the highest level of integrity. Between Gavin and Bad.
Congratulations. I just want to say thank you to you guys for recognizing the needs in the courts and for helping us out with that. We interviewed a lot of folks and those two stood out, so thank you very much. Congratulations, officer.
When I hear that.
Okay, move for the adoption resolution to approve the 2024-25 special patrol agreement between John McGuire and the town of Cicero.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain. Passed.
Pump replacement parts for Mar-a-Lago pumping station. Move for adoption resolution to approve the purchase of pump impellers and related appurtenances for the Mar-a-Lago pumping station from GP Jagger Inc. through county contract 0010912 in the amount of $13,168.70. OCDWEP provides the maintenance of the town-owned pumping stations and has notified the town of the need for these parts. The town will purchase the parts from OCDWEP, will install them. Budget code 092-8120-4000-000.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain. Passed.
My eyes tonight. Lions Run Section 2A amended. Move the adoption resolution to approve the dedication to the town of Cicero drainage facilities located on lots 25 and 26 in Section 2A of Lions Run in the town of Cicero owned by the developer T&L Companies, and authorize the supervisor to execute any transfer documents necessary for recording. The engineer approved the dedication. All parkland fees have been paid and all necessary securities have been posted.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain. Passed.
Lions Run South. Move the adoption resolution to approve the dedication to the town of Cicero of sanitary sewer drainage facilities and road located in Phase 1 of Lions Run South in the town of Cicero, owned by developer T&L Companies, and authorize the supervisor to execute any transfer documents necessary for recording. Securities have been posted with the town for punch list items and warranty items for the project as outlined in the Ramble letter dated September 20th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
No or abstain. Passed.
Move the adoption resolution to approve an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Cicero and the town of Elbridge to assist with assessor training services, and authorize the supervisor to execute the agreement. A copy of the agreement was submitted to the town board members.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain. Passed. Discussion for the town board. Anybody have anything?
Trunk or treat.
Want to make an announcement?
We are having a trunk or treat event at Plank Road Park on this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. All are welcome. I think we have 24 or 25 vendors, meaning people that are decorating vehicles. And we will have a display of decorated pumpkins. So there's going to be 3 contests: pumpkin, costume, and vehicle. Awards will be given, and if you're interested, come on out. Although we are asking that you register on Rec Desk, so we know how many kids to prepare for.
Thanks, Teresa. Anybody else up here? No? No? Okay. Friday, October 25th, 2024, there will be a budget workshop at 5 p.m. And if that all goes well, there will not be one on the next, on the 28th, but that's also up there at 5 o'clock as well.
Monday.
On Monday, October 28th. The Board of Ethics will hold their annual meeting on Wednesday, October 30th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. at the South Bay Fire Department, 8817 Cicero Center Road. I have some letters here that were sent in. I think the board got these. If I'm not, they're the Historical Society. They're asking for our help with their building and next year's budget. If we could enter into an agreement with them. And today I had the pleasure of groundbreaking from the Access CNY Children's Mental Hospital and Health Center that they're going to build on the corner of Thompson Road and Northern Boulevard, which will be great. And what else do I have? Actually, I want to make a comment tonight to Mr. Reardon here, who foiled a request last week, requesting some documentation about an accident that I was involved in last year. And Jay, I want to thank you for your concerns in that area, especially in dealing with what I had to deal with before I came onto this job. And just hope that nobody ever has to go through what I went through. And I know since then there's been at least another fatality over there. But I just want you to know, Jay, that since April of 2022, there's been talks with county, Aqua, or National Grid, the county, the state police, our chief of police, accidents since 2012. And I just want to bring your attention to the last email that I received from a National Grid that stated on June 13th, 2024, and the board is aware of this, that the lighting proposal for 16,500 feet of cable and 54 poles from Northern Boulevard, from Thompson Road all the way to East Taft Road would be a cost of $360,000. I tried to get some funding through the county. The county sent an email back that stated that unfortunately, this type of infrastructure is something that the county does not fund. So I just want you to know when, everybody asks what's going on and stuff like that, I may not say some of these things, but I want you to know that I get what you're saying, Jay. And I think that that the board understands that this is important to us. Okay. So thank you.
I'm going to say it and I'm probably going to get flack from it. So you're not going to put up and pay for streetlights, but you're going to put up money for an aquarium. So that's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to hear it tomorrow. I don't care.
Anyone else? Anyone from our boards? Go ahead, Teresa.
I just wanted to promote, we have a spaghetti dinner fundraiser for the canteen that is sponsored in part by the supervisor and the fire department. It's going to be held at Station 1 at the fire department on Saturday, November 16th. We are selling advanced tickets for $8 or $10 at the door. Hope you'll come out and support. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Anyone from public like to come up and speak?
Hi, my name is Natalie Van Epps, and my address is 5581 Imperial Lane. For those who don't know me, my name is Natalie Van Epps, the one from the Post Standard, Syracuse.com, and other sources who have made it possible for my story.
Okay, Miss Natalie Van Epps, I'd like to stop you for a minute. The allegations here are not true. Even if true, which they are not, this is not the proper place to address or make any personal attacks on anyone, whether the board members or residents. We hired an independent company to investigate, which I welcome, because again, it's not true. I'll let them do their job. All of this is contrived by the board members, I say by the board members, that they are trying to bully me into voting with them on issues that are not in the best interest of the town of Cicero.
Mr. Aragona, before I was interrupted, I would like to finish what I was saying. The truth has been heard. I stand in front of you, Mr. Aragona. My voice is not little. My words are powerful. You took my voice away, just as an example of now, my confidence and my purpose when I worked for you. The word and title supervisor was and is just another word to have power over others. At the time, I was scared to walk in and face you every morning. And when my shift was over, the tears that fell from my face into the town pavement collected my tears from your belittling behavior and words is something I will never forget. So I'm hoping, standing here in front of you, is something that you will never forget. I'm not afraid anymore. And I hope that what you do and your decision is right for others and for everyone else here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? My name is Robert George. All of my comments tonight are my opinion and based upon information and belief, which I believe to be true. I'm here as a private citizen, a resident of Cicero, and I'm exercising my uniquely American First Amendment constitutional rights of freedom of speech. On September 25th, 2024, I filed a complaint against Supervisor Michael Aragano with the Cicero Town Board, which included an affidavit from Natalie. I want to begin by first saying that Supervisor Aragano, you can threaten me and my family all that you want, but you will not silence me. You can threaten Natalie and her family all that you want, but you will not silence her. Natalie is no longer afraid of you. You no longer have any power or control over Natalie. My complaint to the Cicero Town Board was reported by certain news media. On or about October 2nd, Natalie received a text message from a person that previously worked with Mr. Aragano at Sacred Heart Church in Cicero. I am now going to read that text message, but I will intentionally omit this person's name and what her job was at Sacred Heart Church to protect her privacy and to protect her from retaliation. I will refer to her as Mrs. X. Quote, Natalie, it's me, Mrs. X. Saw the article in the paper on what you said you had to endure with Mike. He's evil, and it's everything you said he did. I wanted to tell you that I stand with you. When I worked at Sacred Heart, he was obnoxious, controlling, and was so disrespectful to me daily. He treated all the teachers with such disrespect, it was disgusting. We put up with him because if we needed something, we had to be on his good side. The church always protected him. I mostly ignored him. He threw his weight around and abused his power and was very controlling. I saw him daily belittle the maintenance staff as well. Everyone knew what he was like in that church, but they all let him get away with it because of fear. Finally, Mike got his karma, and he was exposed to the community for who he really is. Thank you for your courage and strength. God is good, end quote. Supervisor Aragano, you know what you did to Natalie and how you treated her. Natalie is a kind, sweet, and gentle young lady. Natalie is here today, and today is the first time that Natalie has entered the town hall since her last day working as a town of Cicero employee. Natalie, will you please stand up? Supervisor Aragano, I am going to give you the opportunity right here, right now, to apologize to Natalie. What am I apologizing for? You know. Natalie, please sit down. Supervisor Aragano, it was my opinion that you have violated the public trust, that you betrayed those that helped you get elected, that you betrayed Cicero voters and residents, that an elected official who has acted as you have acted should no longer remain an elected official, and that you must immediately resign. I have filed a FOIL request for certain documents in the possession of Cicero Town government. I expect you to try to stonewall my FOIL request. I will file an Article 78 proceeding in New York State Supreme Court to obtain these documents. And when I have these documents, and I will get them, I will file a Public Officers Law Section 36 petition with the Appellate Division of the New York State Supreme Court in Rochester, seeking a court order to remove you as Cicero Town Supervisor. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. We stand with Natalie, and we use all lawful means in seeking justice for Natalie. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Anybody else here? With that being said, make a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.